I think it got to that point. So when a couple of singles took off in Definition of a Love Child, I started maybe like a year or two later is when I started working on the album for 10 Years Wiser. And that's when I really started working a lot with Ulopa. And I used to spend countless nights in the studio, man, just working with him, experimenting. And he actually, a big shout out to Ulopa, man. He really gave me that opportunity to experiment a lot with my music and dig deep into the reggae and dancehall that time. Around the same time is when Homeboy's radio had just opened, and I met G Money, and I remember at some point he asked me, listen, one of my good friends is Arif Cooper. Arif Cooper, and he was like, you know the rhythm for the relationship rhythm? Yeah, he's on to produce that, and let me talk to him because I've heard your music, and let me see if there's a possibility of you guys doing something. So he talked to Arif, and Arif was like, okay, yeah, cool, send him the beat, let's see what he can do on it. And that's when I think we had just come from that period of election and during the post-election violence and everything, and that's when I wrote Uprising.
Lose open life, no use listen uprising. Yeah, listen uprising. Yeah, listen uprising. For the youths on the scene, tell them that we lose open life, no you see. We no want no fighting in our yard. Tell them we no want no fighting in our yard. We no want no hate in our yard. Tell them we no want no hate in our yard. We no want no negativity. Tell them we no want no negativity. Hey, we no 1% fight anymore, and we no 1% fight anymore. Listen uprising, yeah, listen uprising, yeah, listen uprising. For the youths on the scene, tell them that we lose open life, no you listen uprising.
That's when I wrote Uprising.
That was a big tune.
Yeah, man.
And it wasn't just because a lot of people jumped on that relationship rhythm, but yours was actually on there.
Man was on the album. If it's one thing I've always told guys is I will never voice a rhythm without getting the consent of the actual producer. That's intellectual property. You can't just steal someone's beat and voice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I voiced the beat and I sent it back to G Money. G liked it, so he sent it to Arif. Arif loved it. He was like, you know what? Send me the stems. I'll mix them on this side. So when the Relationships Rhythm album came out, I got a call from the US, a Kenyan DJ in the US. He's like, bro, I think it was Babu. I don't know if it was Babu or who. I don't know. KD was in the US.
Yeah.
I don't know. So he's like, bro, I'm online here. I'm on this website, and I'm seeing this album, man. This Relationships Rhythm. I'm seeing Collie Buds, Sean Paul, Ginger, Elaine, then I'm seeing Wyre. Is this you? I told him, you play the song. Play the jam. So he was like, Chief, you're doing us proud, brother. You're doing us proud, brother. Now that, honestly, that song really, it opened doors for me. I won't even lie, man. Getting texts from G Money telling me, dude, you're being played on Wyre FM right now. So I started getting a lot of spins in the Caribbean that time. And that's how guys like Elaine was on the same album with her. You know, this rhythm projects are amazing, man, because artists can get to know each other through, like, oh, you're the guy of this rhythm, of that rhythm, you know what I mean?
Rhythm projects done properly.
Yes, legit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I started getting a lot of spins on that.
So that's what introduced you to Elaine.
No, but we were already on the same project together before we worked on that relationship rhythm.
So
because she had a cut on that rhythm as well.
The Elaine song wasn't after this; it was before this.
No, this was after.
Okay, so let's rewind selector a bit,
Yeah.
because I remember now Wyre became the collabo king at this time. There's a collabo now that even for me was just crazy. It's a guy from River Road.
Oh, okay, that came after.
Oh, that came after.
That came after the 10 Years Wiser album.
Okay, so when did the Elaine come? Is it Elaine or Cecile?
Cecile first and then Elaine.
Okay.
That all came.
It's after. This is all after 10.
After 10 Years Wiser.
Okay,
10 Years Wiser, I pushed it for some time. And
what year is this, so that we can sort of like 2006?
6 or 8?
2008, huh?
I think it was 2008.
Okay.
And shortly after that, after pushing that project, I think the biggest song on that album was actually the Uprising tune that really took off. And
those I know this album. There was some Nigerian collabos.
Oh yeah,
there was some Nigerian collabos on this because the Nigerian sound was big.
Yes. I worked with P Square on that album.
Rewind selector, come again. I like that this guy just forgot that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. I remember. I had just.
Dude, you forgot that you worked with P Square.
Yeah. Forgot that actually. Okay, yeah. So before that, I'd started working on some ambitious project. Because I remember I had traveled to Nigeria to perform at the Malta Guinness street dance festival or something. Yeah. And at that point, I'd sent a message.
Done by Fat.
By
Fat Entertainment.
Fat Nini made that happen for us. And part of my stage act was dance. You know what I mean? And I remember us going for sound check. But before we went, I had a link in Nigeria who is called St. Paul, an artist I'd worked with and did a collab with before. And I had mentioned to him that I'm looking at working with a couple of artists on that side. And he said, okay, let me try and get some link. And he got in touch with Two-Face and P Square at that point. So we went for the Malta street dance thing to perform. I had other agendas, plans to do network. I'm coming. So I remember doing the sound check. These guys didn't know we were dancers as well, and we did one sound check and we did part of the act, and guys flipped. Guys were like, dude, we didn't know you dance. But it was so relevant to
the sound.
Relevant to the nature of the event.
Yes,
they didn't know I was a dancer at that point. And I think we prepped for like 2 weeks, creating the routine and everything for that show. Man, it was crazy. So we did the show at night and we killed it. And I remember at the show watching P Square perform, and they shut it down, man, because that was when Doomy had just got fired. Doomy and the wedding song. It was ridiculous, man. So what we did the next day after the show is, because we stayed, I think, maybe like 2 or 3 days before leaving. And next day to the show, my boy took me to Two-Face's place. And apparently by that time, Two-Face was actually a big fan of mine. Because the first thing he saw me, he started singing Chuki. He started singing Chuki. And I think me and him were getting a lot of spins at that time on MTV Base. African Queen and Chuki.
Yeah, African Queen was huge.
Yeah, man. So he started singing Chuki, gave me a hug, like, yeah, what's up, Nini? Straight studio. Yeah, man. He had an in-house studio, and we worked on a jam immediately, and it was featured on his Unstoppable album. I can't remember the name of the song though.
Yeah, that's so. Kenya, Nigeria up in here, you know. I ain't always smart, you know. You understand?
Two-Face, no child
See,
kiss.
hey. I see it coming, I feel it flowing, I I feel the love and unity constantly growing. Hey, imagine it like a fire of harmony burning all over Africa every day, everywhere.
See me on the streets of Nairobi every day, thinking about the next tune me what we do here. Thinking about me role in society, place in society, voice of the youth with the tune for humanity. Faster, see Africa to me what Selassie to Rasta. Africa to me what the Bible to pastor. Africa to me like a tumor to cancer. Music to dancer, say music to dancer. The only thing I wanted to see before my time is really over entirely is one Africa for you and me. No boundaries, we fuse culture, you and me. Me see me brother Two-Face from Niger. Poverty and one we not like her. A rich economy we a fight for. You be my brother, I'll be your brother.
I see it coming, I feel it flowing. I feel the love and unity constantly growing. Hey, imagine it like a fire of harmony burning all over Africa every day, everywhere.
Yeah, so that's how I got onto his album. So we maintained the link after that. The next day, or rather that evening, is when we met up with P Square now. Went to their joint. They had in-house studio. They were great hosts, by the way, man. We started vibing. I was like, oh, what concept should we work on, kind of thing. So we hung out for a couple of hours, and we started the conversation. So when I got back to Nairobi is when I sent them the beat, the concept. They voiced their part on their side. I sent it back, and that's how they got into my album. We did a song called Bringing It Home.
All Africa, we're bringing it home. East Africa, West Africa, all Africa. We're moving slowly but surely we taking over. Telling them haters the game is over. Combination it full of energy. Love, joy and peace, spread the remedy. We make a whole heap of cash in our country. We seen a whole heap of gal in our country. So now we bring it to Africa, bring it back to Africa. Bring it to Africa, bring it back to Africa. East Africa, West Africa, all Africa, we're bringing it home. East Africa, West Africa, all Africa, we're bringing it home. East Africa, West Africa, all Africa, we're bringing it home. East Africa, West Africa, all Africa. In the beginning, feel like play.
About African pride and everything.
Dude, just so that guys may know, P Square at this time are like the biggest artists in Africa.
They were huge, man.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But by the time Wyre is also working with them, Wyre is also part of the biggest artists in the continent. But honestly speaking, did you feel that way at this time?
No, my quest was to conquer Africa, man. And the rest of the world, man. So any chance I got to network with anyone across the border, I took advantage.
Is that how Bashment Crew now comes out, or is that much later?
Bashment Crew, that was a bit later now. Because what happened is, shortly after, I remember we had a tour to the US with Nas. When we came back,